Today's Pokemon theory will be discussing that How is not the rival in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Before we get into all that, I just wanted to let you know that I have another series called Pokemon What If. It's where I discuss possible scenarios of how the Pokemon world, events, and games would play out if something small were changed. Oh, and I also have a Discord server if you'd like to join, where you can discuss whatever you want, even if it's not Pokemon related. With that self-promotion out of the way, please sign in and be ready to comment below your thoughts on today's theory. Now, if How is not the real rival, then who? This theory has cropped up recently, though I think it's a bit silly because in past generations of Pokemon, rivals have been a mainstay, but have always changed somehow. Early on in Generation 2, the rival saw changes from being some childhood friend to a complete stranger. That being said, let's look at a few things from this theory and see who the real rival is, and if it's true or not. The qualities of a rival from Pokemon would be a childhood friend, constantly part of a formula that fits into a certain mold, and sometimes there are multiple rivals that do crop up. The protagonist of Sun and Moon moved to the island, so technically no one is his childhood friend. How is a trainer who challenges the protagonist at random intervals, and there are multiple rivals in Sun and Moon, as many people would instantly say, if How isn't the real rival, then Gladion is, right? But as this theory goes, apparently you, the player, the protagonist, are the rival, and How is apparently the hero. The reason behind this is that How does the opposite of a normal rival, lifting up the player, giving him items, etc. How has a Pikachu, which I guess makes him a main character? How becomes champion after you, and he's the first challenger for you at the Poke League, after you become champion and have to defend your title. How is also not super competitive. How battles for personal growth rather than to prove himself stronger than someone else to boost his own ego. And How's dad is missing. How's father apparently went to Kanto and had fighting type Pokemon for some reason, which potentially leads to a possible Bruno Karate Master theory. Though, for that, we would need to figure out the exact timeline placement of Sun and Moon. You become what Blue was if this theory holds true. Again, there's little evidence to show that this theory is true though. I already mentioned that the rival from Generation 2 defies the mold, but in Gen 3 onward, things really started to change. Rivals became something more of a test for the area, but became increasingly easier also, and would become less of a dick, if you know what I mean. Looking at X and Y, there are multiple rivals as well, which just goes to show that How could just be one of those multiple rival formulas. Every time the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, and Nintendo release a new Pokemon main series game, they always seem to explore deeper character development. For example, looking at Lysander, you can see that villains are not just one-dimensional anymore, and are much more deeper and explored as villains. So there is no form that a rival must conform to. I personally would consider this theory debunked because while How might not be the main rival, he certainly fills the role of a rival, some kind of rival. Even if it's a poor one, kind of like Wally from Generation 3. Though he wasn't considered a main rival, he was still there, often at random places ready to challenge the trainer. So ladies and gentlemen, do you think the protagonist of Sun and Moon is the rival, or do you think that How is? Leave me a like if you enjoyed today's theory, and I have been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, and God bless. Thanks for watching.